now I can turn it around and have a look at the writing that's been hiding underneath.
So no one's seen that writing.
Imagine unlocking secrets buried for more than 4,000 years, only to find warnings that feel uncomfortably modern.
Yeah.
Ancient Sumer, when you look at their tablets and like, what are they saying? And why would they dedicate so much time to talking about this stuff?
Newly translated Sumerian tablets, decoded for the first time with advanced artificial intelligence, reveal a world haunted by cosmic upheaval, divine interference, and cycles of collapse that echo across history. These aren't just myths carved into clay. They read like messages from the earliest civilization about power, catastrophe, and humanity's fragile rise. If they were trying to tell us something, the truth beneath the mud may be darker than legend. The dark message in the clay. Buried deep within ancient clay tablets, freshly translated with the help of advanced artificial intelligence, are warnings older than any recorded history. These messages are not simply tales of gods or kings, but cryptic signals about cycles of destruction that seem to repeat over millennia. The Sumerians recorded their world with a sense of urgency, capturing patterns of rise and ruin that defy simple explanation. They described times of peace and prosperity interrupted by sudden calamities, a relentless loop shaped by forces beyond human control. For centuries, these writings were largely overlooked or dismissed as myth and exaggeration. But now, with AI sifting through thousands of symbols quickly and accurately, a darker picture emerges. The tablets talk about skies burning red, rivers flowing backward, and celestial bodies behaving unnaturally. It's as if the Sumerians witnessed cosmic events that altered the course of human history. The technology allowing us to read these messages is peeling back layers of human experience long forgotten under layers of dust and doubt. One of the most chilling revelations is their insistence that history does not move forward in a straight line, but cycles endlessly. Progress followed by collapse, rebuilding followed by decay. This cyclical view challenges modern ideas of continuous advancement and raises difficult questions about humanity's future. Were the Sumerians simply observers of history's sins, or did they foresee disasters yet to come? Their quiet warnings echo across thousands of years, growing more urgent as our age seems to mirror theirs. These tablets, originally handwritten marks pressed into wet clay, represent humanity's first attempts to immortalize knowledge and destiny. But what they reveal is more troubling than mere records of trade or law. The texts hint at a cosmic order governed by unseen forces, suggesting that humanity is part of a far greater story, one with grave consequences. Like whispers from another time, these ancient voices urge us to reconsider everything we believe about the past. As researchers analyze these texts, they uncover references to devastating droughts, forced migrations, and the fall of great empires. The mystery deepens when geological and archaeological evidence aligns with these stories, confirming that real catastrophes shaped the ancient Near East. The Sumerians described more than just survival. They documented the collapse of civilization triggered by sweeping environmental changes. This isn't a legend, but a blend of observation and memory preserved in clay. Yet, what is most unsettling is how the Sumerians connect earthly disasters with disturbances in the heavens. Their star charts and astronomical accounts suggest they believed events in the sky could unleash destruction on the ground. These cosmic portents infused their daily lives with fear and reverence, making them watchful stewards of celestial routines. It's a profound reminder that ancient people, often dismissed as primitive, were keenly aware of forces still mysterious to modern science. As AI continues to unlock the nuances hidden in the Sumerian language, the full depth of these warnings has yet to be revealed. new layers of meaning emerge, pointing to a knowledge system far older and more complex than previously imagined. What has been uncovered is only the surface of a story that demands patience and open minds. Soon, the most startling secrets behind these dark messages will come into focus, reshaping how we see the dawn of civilization. But first, to understand the significance of what these ancient texts describe, we must glimpse the world of the Sumerians themselves, the watchers of the sky who mapped the stars and connected the heavens to human fate. Sumerians, watchers of the cosmos. The Sumerians were not merely early farmers and city builders, they were among the first astronomers in history. Their fascination with the heavens went far beyond superstition. These ancient people meticulously tracked planets, stars, and celestial cycles with remarkable precision. For them, the cosmos was alive, a vault of knowledge and power that shaped everything below. They created star charts and recorded planetary movements in ways suggesting a sophisticated understanding of astronomy, even predicting events long before modern instruments existed. The tablets made of clay give us an insight into their religious beliefs, to the extent that they thought the gods speaking in the sky affected their world. Astonishingly, the solar movements, the rising and setting of stars, and even the slow wobble of the Earth's axis were all recorded with precision. This awareness of the celestial bodies was not only scientific, but also religious. The Sumerians thought of the sky as a cosmic theater where gods operated and fate unfolded, and their destiny was connected with the star movements. Through many of their myths and records, the idea of cycles is pointed out more than once. Cosmic rhythms that sometimes last for thousands of years. These cycles were reflected in human history. Periods of prosperity and creation were inevitably followed by famine, war, and collapse. In fact, modern science has verified some of these ancient events, such as a very severe drought about 4,200 years ago that ruined the region and led to the downfall of the Akkadian Empire. The Sumerians' description even mentions red skies and stars acting as if they were not familiar, indicating something like solar storms or meteor showers that might have changed the climate and life on Earth. Not only as poetry or superstition, but their astronomical observations might have revealed a clear record of real cosmic phenomena. This goes against the notion of the early civilizations as being totally unconnected to advanced knowledge. The Sumerians' passion for observing the sky was both a necessity for agriculture, calendars, and navigation, and an integral part of their philosophy. They thought that the heavens regulated the world, bringing either blessings or disasters to people below. Incredible as it may seem, the Sumerians came up with the first writing system, the cuneiform, and it allowed them to keep track of a lot more things than just stories. Their laws, trade, medicine, and science were also documented. Their medical knowledge and even the possibility of simple electrical devices like the Baghdad battery were among the scattered colored pieces of wisdom that were centuries ahead of their time. For instance, the Sumerians' astronomical knowledge gave them the ability to pinpoint the invisible forces directing our world. They were still reading their communications only by God's will for archaeologists after several centuries. The process involved the deciphering of an ancient, multi-layered language replete with symbols and idioms. However, it is a very different story now, because the coming of AI has liberated the translations and brought forth the elusive details that were previously missed by human scholars. Therefore, the tales and the cautionary tales written on the delicate tablets are no longer staying mute, but rather they are speaking the new truth that the Sumerians were possibly the first ones to witness phenomena still shrouded in mystery for modern science. To grasp the full story behind these messages and the Sumerians' warnings, we need to understand just how abruptly their civilization exploded into prominence. This sudden burst of human achievement has puzzled historians for centuries, defying expectations of slow, evolutionary progress. The sudden rise of civilization. Around 5,000 years ago, the Sumerians appeared in Mesopotamia seemingly out of nowhere. Unlike many other cultures that developed gradually over millennia, their cities and social systems sprang to life with breathtaking speed. Small farming villages transformed into thriving urban centers such as Eridu, Uruk, and Ur, places that became the cradle of human civilization. Within a surprisingly short period, they built monumental temples, developed complex irrigation systems, and established governments with laws that governed daily life. This rapid development was striking enough to cause historians to question how such advancement was possible without long periods of gradual cultural layering. The Sumerians invented the wheel, the first known system of writing called cuneiform, and laid the foundations for mathematics still used today, like dividing time into 60 seconds and degrees into 360 parts. Their civilization blossomed with an innovative spirit seldom seen so early in human history. Equally fascinating is their creation story, which contradicts many modern scientific theories about human origins. According to their records, humanity did not evolve slowly over millions of years. Instead, the Sumerians described a sudden transformation influenced by divine beings from the sky known as the Anunnaki. These gods, they said, intervened directly to awaken humanity's intelligence, language, and creativity, traits that set people apart from other animals and sparked civilization's rapid growth. The tale suggests that humans were shaped by these celestial beings through purposeful acts, blending divine essence with earthly matter. This story challenges conventional ideas about natural selection and slow progress, highlighting a narrative where wisdom and civilization were gifts from the gods. Whether literal truth or metaphor, this belief deeply influenced how the Sumerians viewed their own culture and place in the world. Cities expanded quickly, becoming centers of wealth, law, and culture. The Sumerians' achievements astonish archaeologists even today. Their temples were architecturally precise, and their knowledge of astronomy allowed them to predict celestial events with accuracy surprising for such an ancient time. Their art, religion, and recorded laws reveal a society advanced beyond simple survival, striving instead for mastery over nature and order in human affairs. Early scholars viewed these stories and developments as isolated myths or local legends, dismissing them as poetic expressions rather than historical facts. But the recent application of artificial intelligence to translate texts at scale has breathed new life into these ancient narratives. AI-assisted readings expose deeper meanings and context, supporting the idea that the Sumerians encoded knowledge intended to last for ages. The secrets of the Anunnaki open a path to understanding how divine myths, ancient science, and human history are woven together in the clay records waiting to be fully decoded. From here, the story flows naturally into the remarkable tales of the Anunnaki and the divine forces shaping early humanity. The Anunnaki and divine intervention. The mysterious figures at the heart of Sumerian creation myths were the Anunnaki, a pantheon of powerful gods said to have descended from the heavens. These beings were not just spiritual symbols, but were portrayed as real entities who took active roles in shaping the world and humanity itself.
What we're looking at here is a Sumerian tablet that actually shows the Tree of Life, flanked by divine beings. You can see here the Anunnaki on each side.
The tablets describe the Anunnaki as mighty creators who bestowed intelligence, language, and creativity upon early humans, transforming them from simple beings into complex, thinking creatures. According to these accounts, it was through their intervention that civilization leapt forward with astonishing speed. Each of the Anunnaki had distinct roles and personalities. Enlil, the god of air and authority, was seen as the enforcer of order, separating heaven from earth and creating space for life to flourish. Enki, the god of water and wisdom, played the role of teacher and benefactor, imparting knowledge and skills necessary for survival and social development. These gods were depicted as complex figures, capable of love, jealousy, and conflict, much like human rulers. This personalization made their legends deeply relatable, yet awe-inspiring. The Sumerians believed the Anunnaki mingled their divine essence with that of early humans, creating a new kind of being with intelligence beyond natural limits. This divine human fusion is portrayed as the key to humanity's unique place on Earth, explaining both the sudden cultural advances and the spiritual connection between gods and people. It painted a picture of civilization not as a random progression, but as a deliberate act of cosmic design. Such stories challenge conventional views about human origins and suggest a much more intertwined relationship between divine agency and earthly existence. For centuries, these tales were interpreted as poetic myths or allegories reflecting human hopes and fears. Samuel Noah Kramer, a leading scholar on Sumerian literature, regarded them mainly as imaginative expressions rather than literal accounts. However, alternative interpretations gained traction in the 20th century. Zecharia Sitchin famously argued that the Anunnaki were not gods, but extraterrestrial visitors from a planet called Nibiru, who came to Earth seeking resources and shared advanced knowledge with humanity. While controversial, this view taps into the mystery of Sumerian achievements and their unexpected sophistication. The magnitude of Sumerian achievements somehow supports the hypothesis that their wisdom could possibly have been the result of marvelous sources. The temples were made with the utmost accuracy, through astronomical observations, which gave plus or minus the same as today. And the mathematics they developed even became the basis of the scientific principles that are still around nowadays. They were able to observe the stars and planets over cycles of many thousands of years. This could either mean that they had such extraordinary insight, or that they had access to such knowledge through other ancient cultures. These facts contribute to the question of whether the deities of the past were just symbols or actual beings with technology that was far more advanced than that of the time. The Anunnaki are depicted in the tablets as having the brightest and biggest appearance. They are characters that are usually illustrated to wear the shining dress and the crown with horns on it, surrounded by the Milam aura, which was both the source of devotion and fright. The Sumerians were of the opinion that the mere act of being part of such divine light could leave mortals speechless with awe. Such striking pictures draw attention to the mixture of the spiritual and the real that was the Sumerian whole view of existence, where the gods were both e.g. of the heaven and at the same time active in the affairs of humans. According to the legend, the Anunnaki had heavenly councils just like the earthly kings, and decided the destiny of people and the intervention of the natural forces. Their ruling represented a universal system that was a mirror of the Sumerian society's hierarchy. This arrangement pictured heaven as a connecting point where both divine and human spheres interlocked, thus endorsing the view that earthly rulers were all endowed with divine right. The Sumerians had these tales as their treasure, and were continuously feeding the ideological flow that the rulers were either directly descended from the Anunnaki or already chosen by them. Hence, no more separation between the mortals and the gods. As awe-inspiring as their mythology is, the Sumerians' legacy goes beyond gods and legends to include a remarkable array of practical inventions and discoveries that might seem astonishing even today. The technology of the ancients. The ancient Sumerians were not only creators of myths, but also pioneers of scientific and technological knowledge. Their texts reveal a sophisticated understanding of medicine, astronomy, and engineering that often borders on the futuristic for their time. Medical tablets describe practices for cleaning wounds, preventing infection, and even measuring heartbeats. Early insights into healing that predate similar discoveries by millennia. This mix of spiritual and empirical knowledge suggests they saw health as both physical and divine. Their observations of the skies went beyond myth to a precise recording of planetary paths, solar movements, and the Earth's subtle motions like precession. This astronomical knowledge was woven into their calendars, agriculture, and religious festivals, allowing them to predict celestial events with uncanny accuracy. For a civilization thousands of years old, their grasp of cosmic cycles was extraordinarily advanced and critical to their survival and worldview. One of the most intriguing discoveries comes from descriptions that match the Baghdad Battery, an ancient artifact thought capable of generating small amounts of electricity. Certain clay tablets reference metal jars filled with glowing liquids or currents, suggesting the Sumerians might have experimented with rudimentary electrical devices. Whether by accident or design, this hints at a level of technological curiosity and innovation far beyond traditional assumptions about ancient peoples. Archaeologists have also uncovered sophisticated irrigation networks, monumental architecture, and advanced metallurgy, all illustrating a thriving society that harnessed natural resources with intelligence and skill. Metals like gold held special status, revered not just for their beauty, but for practical uses, including the reflection of light and conduction in emerging technologies. The symbolic and scientific significance of gold can be traced through its religious and economic documents alike. Medicine, technology, and celestial science seemed inseparable in Sumerian culture. Their healers combined herbal remedies with rituals, astronomy guided their planting seasons, and divine forces were believed to influence every aspect of life. This holistic approach to knowledge shows a society that blended observation with faith, understanding natural phenomena as expressions of a cosmic order. The wisdom inscribed on clay was practical yet profound, guiding daily life and shaping history. Modern science has begun to recognize some of these ancient insights as surprisingly valid. Genetic studies reveal close interactions between early humans and other hominins, such as Neanderthals, echoing Sumerian stories of diverse origins and mixing. This biological complexity matches the cultural richness they described in their myths about divine human hybridization, suggesting the tales might encode real memories of ancient encounters. AI technology has been crucial to uncovering the depth of Sumerian knowledge encoded in cuneiform script. Before this, deciphering the multi-layered language took years, with many texts remaining indecipherable or misunderstood. The new translators reveal idioms, technical terms, and subtle meanings lost to previous generations, showing that the Sumerians communicated nuanced scientific ideas alongside spiritual concepts. Their writings are proving to be a rich repository of early human ingenuity. As their technological and medical wisdom intersect with divine legends, the line between myth and reality blurs, leading us to question the very origins of human knowledge and civilization itself. The mystery of the Sumerian king list. Among the many astonishing artifacts unearthed from ancient Mesopotamia, the Sumerian king list stands out as one of the most puzzling. This tablet records the names of rulers and the lengths of their reigns, but it is far from a typical historical record. The earliest kings are said to have ruled for tens of thousands of years, with one named Alulim reigning over 28,000 years and another, Dumuzid, for 36,000. These unfathomable lifespans challenge our understanding of history and raise questions about their intended meaning. Most scholars agree that these massive numbers are symbolic rather than literal, possibly reflecting the divine status or supernatural power attributed to these rulers. The longer a king's reign, the closer he was thought to be to the gods. In Sumerian thought, time and power were intertwined with holiness, so reign length may have indicated spiritual greatness instead of earthly years. Such symbolic use of numbers was common in ancient texts, where grand figures elevated the stature of kings beyond mere mortals. Nonetheless, a more extraordinary interpretation is one of the possibilities that these early rulers might have been the Anunnaki's descendants, or even hybrids between godly beings and humans. Sumerian mythology states that deities mingled with human beings and granted rights to their children, thus creating a privileged class of people with both human and divine blood. This idea resonates in many cultures over the ages, where the ruling houses claimed connection to the gods to legitimize their rule and to strengthen their power. The archaeological findings increase the mystery even more. The partition of the Queen Puabi, discovered in Ur, also composed of the bones of the queen's body that were difficult to identify and the sought of experts. The skull figure was strange. It was long and thin, with no marks of any kind of deformation, and some of the bones from the graves close to this one were very tall, over 7 feet high for certain. At a time when most people were much shorter, these characteristics imply either very rare genetic traits or something more puzzling. Were they even the remains of the Anunnaki, who were deities? Findings like these are only one reason for the ongoing debate about the uncertain borderline between fiction and truth. The Sumerians' royal bloodline was of prime importance, and thus the seed of Anu, their god, was the most common term used in connection with kingship as far as the tablets were concerned.
Sumerian tablets are probably one of the oldest form of written record that we have. They've been translated, and they tell exciting stories about how gods intermingled with human beings and actually had a hand in the creation of human beings.
Such passages thus contributed to the notion that the king had not only a legal, but also a divine right to death, a right that he enjoyed because of tightly controlled family lines. The root and marriage laws were like a warning signal. No sacred connection was to be cut, and power could only be there as a divine gift. Ultimately, the Sumerian king list invites us to reconsider the beginnings of history, not just as a human story, but one entangled with spirituality, symbolism, and possibly forgotten truths. It hints at a world where gods walked among men, reigns stretched beyond natural limits, and power was a sacred inheritance shaped by forces beyond ordinary time. Cosmic catastrophes and human fate. The Sumerian texts do not shy away from the darker chapters of human history. Among their most haunting accounts are vivid descriptions of cataclysmic events, fiery skies, rivers reversing course, and suns dimming that speak of cosmic disturbances shaking the planet. These were not mere myths, but detailed memories of phenomena that struck terror into their world and altered the course of civilizations. Such descriptions resonate uneasily with modern scientific evidence of ancient climate disasters and cosmic events. One notable catastrophe recorded by the Sumerians occurred around 4,200 years ago, a time marked by a severe and prolonged drought in Mesopotamia. This environmental crisis triggered widespread famine, migrations, and the collapse of the once mighty Akkadian Empire. Scientists have uncovered physical evidence of this event in sediment layers, dried riverbeds, and dust accumulations. These geological signs corroborate the stories etched on clay thousands of years ago, linking myth with reality. What distinguishes the Sumerian narrative is the additional cosmic dimension. They spoke of skies burning red, stars moving like hunters, and solar dimming, phrases that seem to describe intense solar storms or meteor showers. For centuries, historians dismissed these as allegories or exaggerations, but new technology and interdisciplinary research have started to suggest they were observations of real astronomical disruptions. The possibility that solar flares or cosmic debris influenced Earth's climate and human fate lends weight to the ancient warnings. Such celestial catastrophes, if true, would have had devastating effects on early societies dependent on agriculture and stable climate. The sudden changes could explain why advanced civilizations faced collapse, forced migrations, and cultural resets, reflected in the cycles the Sumerians described.
We know that the Sumerians came up out of nowhere. They literally formed cities, civilizations. They had intricate layouts and street grids. They had plumbing systems. They had a political system, the first bicameral Congress.
This framing of history as a loop of creation and destruction, influenced by forces from the heavens, challenges the modern sense of linear progress. It injects a somber note of caution and humility. The Sumerians' fears also extended to burning stones and poisoned lands, objects or substances that scorched the earth and forced people to bury toxic remains deep underground. These accounts may reference natural desert glass and other heat-formed materials discovered by scientists, possibly the aftermath of meteor impacts or mysterious explosions. The physical remnants give a chilling texture to these ancient records, suggesting the past was scarred by powerful, fiery events. Their detailed astronomical observations imply that early civilizations closely watched not only the heavens, but also their impacts on Earth. The knowledge preserved in the tablets about planetary paths, solar behavior, and Earth's own subtle movements helped them anticipate cycles of disaster and renewal. This holistic view of cosmic influence on human fate integrates science, spirituality, and history in ways still unfolding through modern research. These cosmic catastrophes and their profound influence on human fate deepen the mystery of the Sumerians' warnings, setting the stage for reflection on what legacy they intended to leave, and what we might still salvage from their ancient clay voices. The legacy and the warning. The Sumerian tablets, once silent for millennia, now speak with rare urgency. Their legacy is both a gift and a warning, an ancient message about the cycles of rise and fall that shape human history. They remind us that civilization's brilliance is shadowed by fragility, vulnerable to forces beyond control, whether cosmic or earthly. The Sumerians wrote on clay tablets, and in this process, they created the very foundations of writing, law, mathematics, and astronomy. At the same time, their creations portray a dark side of human history that consisted of destruction and renewal, a spiral of creation and downfall repeating through the centuries. The Sumerians did not consider progress as something that was given, but instead, as something that depended on their good relationship with these larger natural and celestial rhythms. They thought that poor weather, poor harvests, and even their own death were the results of invisible cosmic forces. Their observational astronomy was a combination of science and religion. It was said that if there was a disruption in the balance, there would be a disaster. Such teachings have been echoed in modern times when climate change and solar activity are studied. These reminders bring us back to the fact that the fate of humanity is still governed by rhythms greater than our efforts to control. The Sumerians, through both myth and historical records, were the ones to look for the connection between the order of the gods and the responsibility of the mortals. The sacrality of the ruling class for them was equated with the maintenance of divine order as the resuscitation of chaos. Their narratives of drought, invasion, and recovery do not describe random catastrophes, but rather the recurring costs of neglecting that truth. The tablets unearthed and authenticated via contemporary technology are the connectors of ancient wisdom and modern perspective. The Sumerians did not just tell the world the story of the birth of civilization, but also gave a message of humility. Their whispers are calling us to follow the signs in the sky, to acknowledge nature's trends, and to be quick in our actions, so that the grim patterns of history do not return. The ancient Sumerians left us a legacy of brilliance shadowed by warning. Their lost voices reveal a world where divine power, cosmic forces, and human fate intertwine in ways still relevant today. As we uncover more with AI, its message grows clearer. To survive, we must respect the cycles that shape our world. If this unveiling moved you, like and subscribe for more journeys into the hidden past.